is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to Mike in Southern California. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, nice to talk to you again. And I have to start out and first tell you, I love this trading room. This thing is great. This app, it works great. And getting all your information, you're like instantly there. No delay, nothing. That's
I know.
great.
I appreciate you growling problem with us.
Your channel is in my pocket all day long. It's wonderful.
Thank you, man.
Again.
Thank you.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. We kick off the program just after 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Friday trading. And boy, we got quite an acceleration in the markets. S&Ps as I come to you. How about 7,014? We're up by 0.75%. That's a record close if we finish where we are right now. S&P's up by 52 points at 7,014. We'll get into the volume in a moment. NASDAQ 100, we're coming back up to where we were the highs of Wednesday, right near 26,000. We're up by 1.1%. For the growth stocks, up 280 points, 25,968. We're about 430 points away from all-time highs in the NASDAQ 100. Dow, there's your all-time highs on Wednesday, 49,876. Today, we're up 0.5%, up 239 points, 49,729. And the Russell, up by 0.6% right now, up 16 points at 2634. We'll go over the jobs numbers this morning that we got for December. We added 50,000 jobs. The unemployment was 4.4%. Those are the headlines. And the market takes that and says, you know what, maybe we're not getting as many cuts as we maybe even anticipated. But the odds we get one this month, not happening. The 10-year right now at 4.17%. We were as high as 4.2 this morning. You got a little bit of sticky high yield. That's given the dollar a bit of a bid this week. The dollar's at 99.13 right now, and metals are holding up so well with a strong dollar. Dollar's back to 99 and change. You got gold up $50, 49 to be exact, at 45.09. Silver up by 6.3%. Excuse me, up $4.72, nearing $80. Take a look at the volume on silver. Yeah, we're probably going to beat what we did yesterday, but that was a big sell-off. From the highs of 82.58, you got within 10 pennies of the highs when we sold off December 29th. And as I've been talking about on these metals, man, you know, silver, we had a real acceleration up to $80, but over that, you're going to need some volume. We're coming into it today with decent volume. You have the run-up to the highs of October, decent volume here as well. You put this on a weekly, and look at that volume in October, okay? Now, you've been putting up nice numbers, but nothing like that beautiful acceleration. It was August, September. You finished it out in the middle of October, and every week you were doing it on more volume. Now, you had some real nice acceleration here as well, but nothing that matched this. You know, you had a nice volume spike the week of December 8th, 613,000 contracts. Then you rip lower. Look how you got higher. Up to $80 on lighter volume. You rip lower, but look at this week, man. Boy, you know, this is going to be remarkable, man. Silver catches a bid here at the end of the day. We're already up $5. Friday's in the metal market, and you're going to do more volume. It was a New Year's Day. That was 4 trading days, you got to remember as well. So that was a big rip lower, man. And it was led off, of course, by last Monday. There was a lot of the volume. So there is some pressure as we get up to these levels as we've seen, but silver looking strong. You look at gold, okay? There's your October acceleration on gold up to 43.92. But since then, the volume's dropped off. This week is going to be a decent week, but all things considered, nothing like the ramp up we saw. I mean, from September 22nd, you did almost 1.2 million contracts a week, and then you did 1.3, 1.7, and 1.9. And now we're doing 952,000 contracts, right? Half of that contract volume. So not exactly the acceleration that led us up on that first acceleration, as we're over those levels on a little bit lighter volume. All right, let's jump over to the jobs numbers. So, yeah, we got an hour left to go, and we have Trump meeting with oil executives at the White House on Venezuela. You jump over to crude, so get ready for the final 60 minutes. Crude's caught a bid, man. Look at this run. So from yesterday with a 55 handle, we just almost hit $60. Crude's up 2.1% at 58.99. And you take a look at this, man. We might be breaking out to the upside. You're going to have some volume today. You're coming into, look at the highs are 264, that first sell-off. You have volume here at the lows of 352. We've done 312 so far. Crude looks like it's catching a bid right now. You're breaking away from this channel line. That's your daily. You put it on a weekly. It's a nice sign of strength. I mean, look at this. That's going to be the most volume we've traded on a week of crude. And hey, it's not often that the Venezuelan dictator gets captured by the SEALs, right? As in volatility volume, but that's the most volume we've had on an up week in crude, just period. Outside of that October 20th acceleration where there was strength as well, right from the same area, going all the way back to June. So it's a big week. You're catching a bid. That's a nice sign of strength. That's what you want. You step into an equity, a nice sign of strength. All right, speaking of signs of strength, I talked about it at the top. Lennar, listen, if you're thinking about getting into these equities, I wouldn't wait for a pullback right now. You can scale into them, okay, if you're looking for a trade, right? You have Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac now. They're going to be employing $200 billion worth of money, cash on their books, basically, to buy mortgage-backed securities. That's going to put a bid in the 10-year, essentially, which is what those indices, which the mortgage securities are based off of. Now, that market hasn't reacted yet, though. You'd think that you hear that news, Trump's going to pull the levers, try and stimulate mortgage-backed securities, put a demand bid in there. That's going to be higher price, lower yield, but that hasn't happened yet in yields. But boy, these home builders on a weekly basis, the volume could be more impressive, okay? You're comparing it to the 2 holiday weeks here. But on a daily basis, I like this run up, right? You pull back, and I focus on Lennar, which looks the strongest right now. Okay, on a daily basis on Lennar, you got this huge sign of strength. We had buyers coming in this market, man. Same price we're at right now. They just got ahead of themselves. Okay, November 18th, you accelerate from 112 all the way up to 132, but look at the volume. Huge days of volume. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different days that dwarfed anything else we saw, and then most of that decline took place in a very low volume environment. And now it's happening. We're ramping back up, and today will be a big volume number on the close. We're above this acceleration on their earnings now, and it's not stopping. Check out DR Horton, up by 7% today as well. Look at this sign of strength on the weekly for them. You're coming into this bar right here, October 6th, the pullback. But again, look at this strength. You get this breakout, and that's right where you come back into. You come into the area where we're at the November low before the acceleration. The volume's not as pronounced, though. You look at DR Horton. But that buy-in in Lennar back there, I like that. Okay, that's somebody stepping into this market. You're talking about 83 million shares and 45 million shares. Some weeks you were doing 15. 83 and 45 to the upside. You didn't get that type of selling on the downside, and you're up by 8.2% today. KB Homes. We'll finish it up on the backside of this break, up by 7% as well. Markets in the green. Come right back, folks.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to Ben in San Jose. Ben, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Tom, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Yourself?
There we go. All right, we're back, folks. Now, let's jump right back into it, all right? And the YouTube Tigers Den, and it's great. They're talking about the odds of Iran, right? And, man, the people of Iran, what's going on, the protests over there, they're dealing with rapid inflation, protests in the street. And, yes, the odds of an overthrow of that government going up on Polymarket. Now, what's remarkable is that check this one out. When you talk about the New York Times, I'm looking for it, forgive me, there we go. So, if you bet that the U.S. was going to invade Venezuela, you're not going to get paid out because Polymarket has declared that did not happen. So, Polymarket users, the dispute started over a question posed to the bettors, will the U.S. invade Venezuela by? Folks, this is like a lesson in gambling 101, You better make sure you know how that bet's decided, right? What's decided, what hook, all that stuff. It's gambling 101. And it's so vague in this, how the resolution source for this market will be a consensus of credible sources. The one thing that we may all be able to agree on is that we all struggle to agree on what the consensus of credible sources is. Imagine that, right? Do we all agree on what the consensus of credible sources is? Who decides what a credible source is? I mean, you look at that alone and I say, now, pretty remarkable in light of what we saw with our eyes, right? Helicopters going in, bombs going off, SEALs going in, taking out the ruler and his wife of that country. And imagine placing a bet on that, Special forces go in. You wake up Saturday morning and Maduro's in a Nike outfit, blindfolded, with Trump posting pictures of him on Truth Social, right? And they've ruled that that's not what happened. And that's it. And they're ruled by the CFTC, but I don't even know how that works because that's not really the legit that in that they're not really under their purvey as well. They are in terms of prediction markets, in terms of CFTC, but they have a special deal, Polymarket, which is they're not doing business in the U.S., but you can still gamble on it. But yeah, they declared that military operation did not constitute an invasion. So buyer beware on those ones, man. That one surprised me. I would not think that they had declared because, and that's the debate going on right now in Congress, right? In the country. Did he invade? Or was he just arresting a leader of a foreign state, indicted, etc.? Well, make sure you can quantify and qualify the exact way that your bets are paid out. Because I look at a bet like that, that argument was teed up, man. The Constitution, the president doesn't have the right to invade it. He'll say that, but he said he didn't invade it. If you were betting on that, you better have been ready for that type of a facet of that argument going down the line. But pretty remarkable. Now, it'd be interesting to see that Polymarket trader cashed out all their bets, right? So they probably didn't wait for that to get paid out completely. Pretty remarkable. What just happened? Did I just jump around? Forgive me. No, I think I'm good. Okay. All right. We jump around to what else? It wasn't just our jobs. Canada's jobs number was out today as well, but check out their jobless rate, 6.8%. Yeah. Employment rises 8,200, 6.8%. Now, on our jobs front, okay, what's remarkable here is, check this out. So, for all of 2025, we had a payroll jump of 584,000, okay? 3 months of net declines, especially the October print, which was revised down to 173,000. That's the lowest annual gain since 2003. Now, you've had declines, okay? The year 2000, right? You back it up to the 2008, the 2009. And what this is these are annual figures showing job growth in the expanding economy. But this is the lowest number of jobs we've added since 2003. Check it out, 584,000. Last year, it was 2 million, 2.5, 4.5, okay? You had COVID, of course. You got them all back and then some in the next year or two. You had the 2008 crisis. You had the 2000 dot-com bubble. But check it out. Outside of everything else, there's a problem in jobs there. That caught me by surprise. In quite that statistic in terms of how that compares to every other year. And guess what? The population's bigger, right? That number should keep going up because as a percentage of population, that's a very small number. All right, we jump around to some of the energy stocks. So Meta inking a deal with Oklo. So they've given up some of the gains. You're up to 121 pre-market. Look at this. Oh, careful chasing. So a lot of this baked in. This is a heads up when this happens, okay? Man, even on the pullback. Oklo up to 193 in October. You get some news they're inking a deal with Meta today. Was it VST? Yeah, this is the other one. VST, they've given back the gains too. Some of them. They're still up by 11.3%. Yeah, not as quite as pronounced as Oklo. So this deal, you got Meta signing a deal, 6 gigawatts, enough to power 5 million homes. Yeah, so they're going to purchase directly from 3 existing Vistra core plants. That's when I pull up VST. And they're going to support several small reactors that Sam Altman, Oklo, and Bill Gates. Then you got TerraPower LLC as well. Constellation's in the mix as well. But these energy deals, man, you jump over. Even Cameco, yeah, they give it back as well, though. Look at this. Okay. We finally might have reached the point that these deals aren't given the emphasis they used to. Now, CCJ has been on a heck of a run. We double top. Look at this volume. Going to be tough to get above this volume. October 27th, CCJ makes a run from $36 all the way up to 110. We're digesting those gains. We're right back there. That Constellation, you're up by another 6% right now, but look at the weekly. That's some nice volume on the buy. But it's been a tough week to the downside. Even yesterday, trading lower to dramatic fashion with no real news, but look at the volume. All right, we jump around to some of the growth stocks. Let's check out the NASDAQ 100. Look at these chip stocks, man. Micron up by almost 6%. Broadcom up by 4.3%. Yeah, Intel. Let's look at Intel. Okay. Look at this. Breaking to recent highs. You're doing it with volume too. On a daily basis, you're going to do it, man. Friday, we're going to get volume on the close. You got 166 million on the 7th. We're going to break above there with volume. So that's your daily. All right, 2 years just like that. We're coming back up to these highs. But look at the weekly. You had all this volume up here until we haven't had real volume since about $35. Now, this is going to be a nice week, but look at that real week. We were doing 1 billion shares in a week. Now we're doing 600 million, and that's a big week. But Intel up by 11%. Yeah, Trump's Intel seal of approval lists Broadcom and Micron as well. Man. Trump said he had just finished a great meeting with a very successful Intel CEO, describing the government's investment as profitable for taxpayers and part of a push to restore leading-edge chip manufacturing in the U.S. So Intel up by 11% on that news. They get the sign of approval. Micron up by 5.6. Take a look at these charts. Whew, look at this thing, man. And you did get a pullback to the 382. It was a quick one. It only lasted 4 days, literally. And then you started on the way up again, and we get a 4-day pullback from 260 to 200, and just like that, we're at 345. You're coming up to those highs. On the daily, you're not going to have it, though, on Micron. Look at the volume, 26 million. All right, folks, S&P's up by 53. We're coming right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the Opening Call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening Call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. We jump around to some of the equities right now. NASDAQ 100, yeah, those chip stops. Lamb up by 8.7, AMAT 6.7%, CLAC up by 5.8, AppLovin, another big one today, up almost 5%. Tesla Let's take a look at Tesla, up by 2% right now. Going to be a big year for Elon. Tesla shares, yeah, up by 2.1%, up $9. We've had a little volume on this pullback. That acceleration January 6th, 89 million on the daily. We'll take a look at the weekly. Okay. On a weekly basis, we got highs. 495's got the volume, man. That was a nice acceleration. Little selling this week, but that's actually going to be a positive week for Tesla from where we were last week. Yeah, look at Lennar. It's not stopping. Don't wait to get on this ride right now, folks. I talk about it often. One of the things that really made things easier for me when I stopped needing to get the bottom tick and get the top. And you're never going to get the bottom of the top. We all know that. But just even something like this. You get a sign like a strength like this the last couple days. Yeah. It's unfortunate you couldn't get in this thing when it was at 102 and you're getting in at 120. Right? It was just there this week. Okay? Yesterday, 102.80. Today, you're $16 higher. Well, guess what? You got your sign of strength, though. All right? You pick a stop, but this thing might not stop. You hit a floor. It's a nice area of support. That's your weekly. You back it up 5 years. You can see same exact area from the lows of 2023. That's where we just touched. And you caught a nice bid. And, man, you start seeing headlines like this already. Mortgage rates dropped to the lowest level in nearly 3 years as Trump orders buying of $200 billion in mortgage bonds. And check this out. 5.99. Seems like it's almost too good to be true. As in 5.99. Made for promotion. But nonetheless, you start getting 5 handles, man. The rate on a 30-year mortgage dropped 22 points. According to Mortgage News Daily, Fannie and Freddie do not originate it, but they buy the loans. And that's the pricing. If you know that you got a $200 billion bidder in the market, guess what? The price is going up for a fixed coupon loan. And if they're paying more, it's less of a yield. Thereby replenishing lender funds for new loans and keeping interest rates lower and more stable for home buyers. Get ready. You got this, and then you got the Fed coming. And this isn't the only lever. When the Fed steps in on it, they're doing $80 billion a month, right? 80 billion a month. This is only $200 billion. They're going to figure out a way to keep this going. The levers are getting pulled. They say don't fight the Fed. This is pretty close to the same thing. In the first 2 months of COVID, the Federal Reserve purchased $580 billion in mortgage-backed securities, buying them throughout the years. Don't think it can't happen. We're going to get a new Federal Reserve chair. You think Trump's talked about with the new people that he's interviewing, where their thoughts line up with the potential to stimulate that part of the economy? I imagine that may have come up, and that their views may align. Yeah, and during COVID, they added $900 billion. So $200 billion is just the start. We're not going back to the days of a 2.75% mortgage rate with this kind of growth. But let me tell you, man, we start getting a 5.5, even 5.99, okay? You get a 5.5, you're going to be able to buy your rate down to 4.9, 4.75. That's a different world than what we're living in right now. Most analysts looking for somewhere between 25 to 50 basis points of where rates are going to go. But how long is that going to take? Because that's happening. Even some simple math right here, right? If rates get down to 5.9, you're talking about over $120. Real money, man. And I would disagree. You know, you get some takes here, okay? Executive vice president of a securities firm saying if we get to 4.99, it's not going to matter because people can't qualify. There are a lot of people out there that are going to be able to qualify and find a way at 4.99, okay? Whatever it is, that's a different world. I don't think we're going there right now. If we're going there right now, and I thought we're going there right now, I said don't sell any real estate until we get there. But that is the trend right now. So you look at where the 10-year is right now, we're at 4.17%. And I expect that number is going to come down over the period of 2026. And we'll find out. But yeah. The home builders are saying it. There's a rotation right now, and the yields haven't taken focus, but don't fight the Fed, they say, and don't fight when the president's going to throw hundreds of billions of dollars at the mortgage market to make sure that the steepening that's occurred between the 10-year and the 2-year tries to narrow that steepening, because the Fed's not going to do the job. He knows that as well. This is the next battle, okay? And the next Fed chair is going to be in the middle of this as well, because the 2-year actually doesn't matter. The 2-year matters. 10-year matters a lot more. Fed doesn't control that. They can try to influence it, but they don't control it. This $200 billion is going to control it, and guess what? They can't control it. Mortgage-backed securities, period. And now that's part of the game. And that's part of the game before the next Fed chair is even put in. So you think Trump's going to talk about that maybe the Fed should be stimulating it? If he's using government funds, this is just where it's going. Okay, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy for rates to come down, but this is where the pressure is going to be. We're seeing it, and I think you're seeing people agreeing in the market and putting their money behind it with the home builders. I mean, just an hour ago, I was looking at Lennar and we were under 118. Yeah, where were we? Yeah, 117 and change at like 215. We're up another full dollar. Doesn't mean we're not going to get a lot of volatility as well. But I encourage you to step in with a partial position. If you're thinking about getting in there, always use a stop, though, folks. Always use a stop. That's all I'll say. Okay? You're always going to be wrong at some point. Never try and decide on the way down where you want to get out. Look at the chart. Pick a spot on this one. How much room you want to give yourself. Because, we've tested this area again. Okay, but you go below anywhere near 100, and I'm not saying to give yourself a 20% stop, because you should be looking to make 2 to 3 times your money, and that would mean you need to make $40 to $60 to the upside if you're giving yourself 20 on the downside. And it's been a move, but pick a stop no matter what in this market. DR Horton up by 7.4, and they're going to have some volume for sure. Jump over to Rocket, right? Up by 8.7%. Mortgage companies, it matters, folks. It's greasing the wheels. They have a buyer. They know they can just push out that paper. Imagine, right? If you're a mortgage company, give them a little bit better rate, because guess what? You got buyers in the market, man. You close that deal, you get it sold, you push it out. That's right. Fannie and Freddie, they're going to buy it. They got $200 billion to spend. Go push out a mortgage and make sure you have a product to sell them, because you have a buyer in the market. Rocket up by 8.7. How about this chart? S&P is up by 52. Record territory. We're coming right back, folks. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Welcome back, folks. S&P is right in our record territory. We hit a record today at 7,017. NASDAQ 100 right now. We got highs out there from October, 26,399. In Europe at 25,960. The Dow, you hit a high this week. We're just off that level as well. Check out that nice channel in the Dow. Approaching the upper boundary of that channel. But nonetheless, new highs. That's your daily. And then the Russell, all-time highs made today as well. We take a look at the weekly. How's that extension on the Russell? You're up to almost 830,000 contracts. You're going to get some volume on the close. It's a decent week for the Russell. S&Ps, as we approach record territory, not quite the volume we've seen in some other weeks. You back it up to the week of December 15th, the last week before the holidays, you were doing 9.6 million. Right now we're at 5.8. Now that was options expiration, though. And watch this. Oh, it wasn't even as pronounced as it was. Yeah, it was not even as pronounced. No, you had a lot of volume. That's some selling, man. December 12th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. Those 4 days, we had some selling. Then you caught a bid at 6,800. But since then, I mean, look at that. We haven't had much buying stepping in. Nonetheless, up 50 points. I say much buying as in volume hasn't stuck out dramatically. All right, what else we got going out here? We talked about Meta. Yeah, this one's interesting. So there's going to be a next guy at some point, Tim Cook. And this is just an article talking about maybe the next gentleman, John Turnus, Apple's head of hardware engineering. And they go back to his contributions. You know, adding certain things to only the expensive Pro models. You're going back to 2018, threading the needle between new bells and whistles to Apple's products while watching the bottom line. And he's been with the company for 25 years. And he's considered by some, and you'll start getting more of these articles. Mr. Cook, 65 years old, So told senior leaders he's tired and would like to reduce his workload. Should he step down, he's likely to become chairman of the board to make that change as less drastic as possible. Now, Apple shares, we got a pullback going on. Let's take off this for a sec. And you're doing it with some volume. I mean, look at this. Right from the highs of that channel. Apple's been in a nice channel. Go back to basically the COVID lows. Okay, you're right at the top portion of that channel line, and we're rolling over. You had some nice volume. And the ideal setup would be here. You pull back on some lighter volume. And that's where I'm looking. Whether to add or enter Apple, you're a little bit of the overvalued side right now. You accelerate up there. We're pulling back on lighter volume. But this week, when we open the week at 272, you got as high as 277, and we're at 259 right now for Apple. Microsoft on a weekly basis. Yeah, just chopping around from this pullback in November. Microsoft up $1.50 today, up 0.3%. Amazon's had a heck of a week. Check this out. All right, Amazon. Kick off the week at 228. We're at 247, man. And you do it with some volume. Let's see, we got a high out here of 250.50. So it'd actually be nice if we don't break that, because that has some real volume up here. And right now we're at just above 200 million, but Amazon catching a bid this week. Jump over to Oracle shares. They're up almost 5% today. Let's see where we are. Yeah, 5.6% today on a weekly basis. Just chopping around from November. Put this back to a daily. All right, a little bit of strength. We haven't had any volume throughout the holidays for this equity. You go back to their numbers when they disappointed on earnings. Traded from 222 down to 184. It's a green bar, but doesn't deserve to be a green bar. You traded higher intraday, but you dropped out of the sky on their numbers. And you're just chopping around right there. 200. You're going to be trading into this gap. Nonetheless, Oracle with the chip stocks up by 5.7% today. AMD off by 0.4. Micron up by 5.2. All right, just chopping around. Let's jump over the VIX. Yeah, no reason to be paying for volatility premium in this market when we are just drifting higher, man. VIX at 1453. We got the unemployment rate going down to 4.4%. So, mortgages are a problem right now, but not for this market, man. We have the unemployment rate at 4.4%. We're adding 50,000 jobs a month, and we have growth in the economy. Coming into earnings season next week to kick things off. See where we go from there. Let's jump around to some of the banks that usually kick it off. Bank of America down by about 0.5%. These banks, quite a run from the lows of April. And really, you're talking about the lows of October of 23. I mean, look at this. We're almost... Look at this. There's your 1-to-1. We hit it this week. Unbelievable. Bank of America does a 1-to-1, A to B, C to D. Pretty similar time frame. You almost do it a little bit quicker than the run we did from October until November of last year. You pull back and you do it again, and we're right at that level. Bank of America. Look at these banks. JP Morgan. Yeah, almost the same deal. Let's do it. All right. JP Morgan could have a little higher to go. You're basically flat today, but they hit an all-time high of 337 this week as well. Now, Wells Fargo, they're in their own classes. They can expand their asset base finally, and these are a couple different. Let's do this for a little clarity. Take that off. Yeah, look at this. Wells Fargo actually at the 1 to 1.618 right now, blowing through the 1-to-1. They've had a heck of a couple years, man, from $50 to 95. Whew, these banks. Look at this. Same thing, right? And that's why I say, once you get the sign of strength, like looking at the home builders, the runs you can have when you actually wait for the sign of strength. Don't try and buy into this thing on the pullback when you go from $86 down to 55. Wait until you get a nice sign of strength. There was your sign of strength on the buy. Maybe if you waited until afterwards, 65, 66. We've doubled since then. You could be kicking yourself when the thing goes down to $55, right? It's a perfect example. You wait. You wait for the completion of this bar. You break out with a nice sign of strength. There's your floor. You know if you're wrong. You step in the next week at 63. Yeah, you got in at 63 when the thing was at 55 the week before, but guess what? It's going to 121 in less than a year. Doesn't mean it always plays out, okay? That's a great example. And here we are. And guess what? You're probably going to the 1.618. This thing's not stopping, Citi. Up by 0.6% right now. Take a look at the monthly. Don't look at the financial crisis chart. You talk about a different world. Well, look at this thing. Whew. All right, now they're going to have to live up to it, though. You just went from $37 to 121 over the period of just over 2 years on Citi. Quite a run. All right, S&Ps up by 50. We got 10 minutes left to go on the trading day. This would be a record close, 7,011. We got the Russell at 2637, also flirting with a record close as well. Dow right now up 269, and you got, Dow up 256, NASDAQ up 270. We'll come right back. One more segment, folks.
Many Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps right now up 46 points. NASDAQ up by 257, 1% right on the dot. You got the Dow up 250 points. That's 0.5%. The Russell up by 0.7%. So as I mentioned, we come into earnings next week. The banks usually kick it off. You actually get Delta. They're out Tuesday. Okay, Delta up by 1.1%. The airline's quite a run from the April lows as well. And then you get, excuse me, having some tea in the afternoon again. We got Wells Fargo, Citi, and Bank of America Wednesday before the market open. Thursday, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley. Among others, Friday, you get State Street, PNC, and Regions. Banks always kick it off. We get the banks next week. Should be a good season for the banks as they kick it off. But they'll start things off, and we come into the earnings season at a level when the S&P's coming in at 7,008. You talk about a finish, baby. You put this thing on the daily, and yeah, we got less than 5 minutes to go in trading, and you're looking for a record high. Russell, same thing, record high. So we get the S&P's at records, the Russell's at records, the Dow hits a record on Wednesday. We're just off that level, and you got the NASDAQ 100 about 1.5% away from those highs that we actually made in October. Quite the run. And the VIX as well, okay? Things can change when we come back next week. We're really back in the swing of things. You come back. This was the first full week of trading. You come back But yeah, the VIX saying nothing's getting in the way of this market right now, man. We're up by 46 points on the VIX. Plummeting yet again, 1450 on the volatility index. We take one more look at metals. Metals up by 1.25% for gold, 45.16. Silver, there you go, 79.48. Platinum up 0.6%, and copper up by 1.5%. All right, folks, thanks so much for tuning in, spending your Friday afternoon with me right here on the Tom O'Brien Show. Couldn't appreciate it more. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Go enjoy it with your family and your friends. Be safe out there, folks. We'll look forward to seeing you back here at 9 o'clock Monday morning for the Morning Market Kickoff. Have a great weekend, folks. Thanks so much.